What is the story you keep telling yourself about why you're not posting? Hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Post It Anyway. I'm Jessica and I help aspiring content creators overcome the fear of judgment so that they can start posting content even if they're not 100% ready. We want that content posted anyway. So today we're going to get into something that I say this in every episode, but it's true. This is why I'm here to give the help, give the value. It is true. A lot of people have stories that they tell themselves in their head, and these stories are constantly repeating, and they are believing that these stories are a fact when they're not. So we're going to go through what some of the stories are, how to debunk some of the stories, if they're even important, what you have to do to kind of break that barrier so that you can actually start posting. Because with a lot of people, and with me too in the beginning, I had these stories in my mind and they stopped me from actually creating content and posting. Side note, if you're watching this on YouTube, I feel like this is my first time wearing an actual hoodie. I'm in relaxed vibes today, you know? I also do have a microphone. I'm going to be getting that set up for next podcast episode. Podcast if you're watching, or I guess listening to this on Spotify. Video podcast if you're watching this on YouTube, but I do have a microphone, but I need to get it set up properly. So yeah, I can't wait to have my microphone and be chatting with you guys. But yeah, anyways, back to what I was originally saying. I'm very comfortable today. I'm like, let me try something new instead of I do have my face done. I do have my makeup done, but I feel like that's just whatever, I'm like, let me being chill vibe. So anyways, let's get into this. So as I just stated, a story in the context that we're talking about in this video are thoughts that keep replaying in your mind over and over again, okay? It's like these are the stories that are on autopilot. You don't have to think about these stories. These are just honestly beliefs that you have about yourself. You also do not need to force these thoughts. They're just a part of you. It's kind of like your baseline, okay? So we're gonna go over these stories, and if any of them resonate with you, let me know in the comments which story you find that you keep telling yourself of why you can't post. So the first one is, I'm not an expert yet, okay? I dealt with this one a lot, especially as some of you guys may know. I feel like I mentioned this in every episode, but it is true. I started off in the nutrition field, right? So even though I had the credentials, literally had the education paper, that piece of paper that said I am a certified holistic nutritionist, I still felt like I'm not an expert. I have no, experience in this field. We'll get into experience and expert stuff afterwards. But I felt like I wasn't ready, wasn't ready to start sharing nutrition facts with the internet, with the world, on social media. But it's like, first of all, it's imposter syndrome, especially when you have the credentials to do that specific thing. It's like, you don't go to police school, police academy, whatever, and then you graduate police academy, and then it's like your first day on the job, you're like, I can't do it. It's like, you can do it. You've been training for this. You are prepared for this, but you may have that imposter syndrome that tells you, no, I can't post. No, I'm not an expert in this. And when I say expert, this is, it could be anything. It could even be in the fashion field. Like, I'm not a stylist. Who am I to share these fashion tips? It's like, no, you have a certain point of view. You have a certain, way of styling certain things. You get to share that with people. People can and will resonate with the way that you are looking at fashion. You don't need to be an expert in a certain field to share that on social media. That should not stop you from posting. Another story that you might be telling yourself is, nobody wants to hear from me. If you are, or if you grew up being the shy one, me, or if you grew up being the quiet one in your family, in your friend group, you may have this thought, these feelings that nobody wants to hear from me. Who wants to hear what I want to say on social media? I've been quiet my whole life and now I want to put myself out there. That doesn't matter. Your past doesn't dictate your future. If you were shy in your past, if you were timid in your past, it doesn't mean that's who you have to be for the rest of your life. Just remember that, okay? That doesn't have to stop you from posting. Yeah, you could have been shy in elementary school, could have been shy in high school, could have been shy in college, but now that you're past college, post-university, post-secondary, you don't have to be that exact same person. Just remember, you can rebrand, but you can rebrand yourself literally any day of your life. You can pick today to be the day that you say, you know what? I'm actually gonna start posting. I don't care what these people from my past think about me. If they think I'm the shy one, that doesn't matter to me. But what I know is that I want to be a content creator, so I'm gonna start today. It could be as simple as that. I know I'm saying it very directly. It could be as simple as that, but I know obviously Overcoming the fear judgment and overcoming these stories and all these things is not as easy said as done. But some people, the way I just said it, they just pick today to be today and they start. That happens to some people. So I know I'm definitely talking to some people that are more quick on their path. That wasn't me per se. Another story that we've definitely been talking about, and if you listen to every episode so far or watch every video so far, you know this one. I'll start when I feel confident. I'll start when I have better lighting, better equipment, a better camera, all these things. And it's like, no, those are excuses that you tell yourself to buy yourself more time, to procrastinate longer, to avoid doing the thing that you know you need to do, which is film content and post it, okay? I could have told myself, like, I guess this is number 7 now, from the beginning, you know what, I'm gonna start when I get my microphone set up. I've had my microphone actually for a long time. The thing is, I just need to connect my mic to GarageBand and figure that part out again, because I've used my microphone many times in the past. But I'm not gonna let that stop me every single time I wanna start a podcast. The reason why I actually even said it today was because I'm like, you know what, Jessica, you've been delaying this microphone part for a little bit too long. Put it on camera. Put it on camera, tell the world, okay? Because that's just what I have to do sometimes. Once I tell you guys something, I'm like, oh, accountability. So that's just me personally. As I was saying, you don't need to be 100% confident to start posting content. We've already talked about this in episode number 3. You don't need the best lighting, camera, all these things. I feel like this story that you tell yourself may be the most common one. It's that everyone else can do it, but I can't. I'm different for some reason. When you are looking at all these, content creators that have many, many followers, even the ones that you look up to, they don't need to have many followers, whatever. The only thing that makes them different between you and them is that they actually post it. They actually press the post button, right? It's not even about filming so much, because I know a lot of you film content, but you just don't post it. You film content, you start to edit it, you second guess yourself, you start to think that you're cringe, the sun's coming out again, you start to think that you're cringe, and then you're like, oh, I'm not gonna post it. Repeat. And now you have a folder full of drafts, no content online. Nothing makes them different than you. They are not better, they are not smarter, they don't have a secret trick, magic, anything. They just press post. They just press upload, which is why it may seem like, oh, they can do it and I can't. That's not true. I also thought that in the beginning when I was looking at other people in the niche that I want to be in, thinking, why can they do it? Why can't I? Nothing makes them different at the end of the day besides them actually going for it. Pressing post, uploading that content. And then the last story, I'm too late. There's too many blank creators, too many beauty creators, too many fashion creators, too many fitness creators, too many whatever, anime creators, I don't know, too many creators. That is not true, okay? There's how many people in this world? 8 billion and something. Don't know, I'm gonna put it up here, okay? That's how many people there are in the world. And you think because there's, one certain niche has many people in that niche that you can't bring something different. There's nobody else in the world like you, okay? First of all, nobody has your experience. Nobody else has the same thoughts, the same patterns, all these things that comprise you of you, that make you you. Nobody has that. So it doesn't matter if there's two tech people talking about iPhone 13 Pro Max, right? It doesn't matter, even if they're talking about the same specs, because at the end of the day, there are certain things, the specs of the iPhone don't change, right? It is what it is. There can be 4 different people, not 4, literally 40,000 people talking about the same thing, but what makes one person say it from the other person, there's a difference. The personalities are all going to be different, and guess what? They're talking about the same thing. So what makes you think that just because there are many people in one niche that you're too late? No, it doesn't work like that. Social media doesn't work like that. People come into social media every day. People start their posting journeys every day in certain niches every day, and they do great literally every day. At the end of the day, social media is a thing and a place where people are following people for people, right? We're not really following for the topic, because I can follow, I don't know, anybody if I want to really find people who do dark skin makeup. There are so many content creators that, focus on dark skin makeup, but certain people have different personalities. Maybe they're from like my country, Canada. Maybe they're from Toronto. Love that. what's this? Love that even more, right? There's certain things that connect people to certain people. I'm more inclined to watch a full video of a Toronto day in my life than a Seattle day in my life. Why? Just because I'm from Toronto, right? So there are certain things that will attract you to certain people. Literally, as I say this today, on Monday, April 13th, you are not too late to join the niche you want to join. And that's what I'm going to say about that. I know that because you tell yourself these stories all the time, because they're constantly replaying in your mind and it's literally, as I said, your baseline, they feel like facts to you, right? They feel true to you, but they're not. These stories that you tell yourself, they're really just there for your brain to protect you, right? Because your brain wants to protect you. Your brain wants to keep you safe. Your brain doesn't want you to go out there on social media and share, yourself and your life to the world, to possibly millions of people, right? So these stories that you tell yourself, you need to remember that they are not facts. They're just thoughts that keep replaying into your mind. Now let's get into, where do these stories even come from? First of all, they can come from past experiences, which is most people's case, right? For example, one of the stories that I have for myself, this is vulnerable, but it's true, okay? One of the stories I have for myself is that I am bad at public speaking. I have this story, I don't know, because guys, in elementary school, when you have to do little, presentations from the class, I never did great. In high school, never did great. I was always nervous before going up. In college, in university, literally every school setting that I had to do public speaking, I was always nervous beforehand. There's actually only one presentation that I did that I felt not nervous before doing it, okay? It was in high school, but that's whatever. That was just one out of the, probably 30, 40 that I've done in my life. So for me, that's the story that I tell myself a lot. I'm not good at public speaking. I can't public speak. It's just not for me. But honestly, if I got a chance, an opportunity, I would take it. I would have to, because that's the only way that you're going to get better at something, to actually do it, right? I tell you guys all the time, how are you going to raise your confidence with social media? By actually posting, because the more you post, the more repetitions you have, the more comfortable you get, the more your confidence raises, right? So I'm not going to be a hypocrite, first of all, and be like, I can't do public speaking. I have an opportunity. I can't do it. Okay, yes, I have the story in my head, but I'm really at the point right now where I'm ready to overcome anything and everything that comes in my way. The stories that you keep telling yourself can also come from comparison. So especially with content creation, if you're comparing yourself to somebody else who is already doing content creation, who has already, built a following, built a community, is literally doing the exact thing that you want to do, this is where you start to compare yourself and you say, they can do it, I can't. What's different about me? We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but then you start building stories in your head like, oh, I'm not able to do it. I can't do it. I'm not meant to be a content creator. And now you're telling yourself, you're feeding yourself this information, these thoughts, fake news every day. And you know what? That becomes your baseline. Another place is where these stories in your mind can come from is from fear of repeating a bad moment, right? So this is more from experience, if something happened in the past where, let's say, in the past you did have a YouTube channel, right? 10 years ago, and people from your high school, let's say you were very young when you made it, people from your high school were making fun of you, you're walking down the halls, people are like, what are you posting, what are you doing? And then you ended up deleting it, right? And now you want to actually go for this dream again, and you're like, oh, I remember back in high school, people would make fun of me, I'd be walking down the halls and people would be like, why are you posting this, what are you doing, haha, all this stuff. You may have that part in your mind that is full of fear. It's full of fear of repeating bad moments that happened in the past. This one is hard because our brain is always trying to find evidence, right? Evidence that something is real, evidence that something is true, that something is a fact. So when you have these past memories, these past experience that help your brain to say, you know what, no, this happened in the past, so that means it will happen again. This is where we need to disrupt that thinking, right? Disrupt that pattern, because as I said in the beginning, your past does not dictate your future, okay? Just because something happened in the past, just because you were this type of person in the past, doesn't mean that you have to take that into your future. You can start one place, but doesn't mean that you have to be there for the rest of your life. You can get yourself out of certain situations. That means you can rewire these certain thoughts that you have. these certain patterns that you have in your life as well. You guys notice how in this whole video, I haven't said that you need to get rid of these stories, right? Because these stories that we tell ourselves, it's not even about the story itself. We actually need to normalize it, because what the problem is believing that they're real. That is where the issue starts, because at the end of the day, the stories and thoughts that we tell yourself, this is not a content creation problem. This is not like a beginner problem. This is just a human being thing, okay? I don't want to use the word problem anymore. This is just a human being thing. Everybody who has a brain, okay, has stories that they tell themselves, right? But it's about not believing these stories and still pushing through. You guys probably know by now, because I've mentioned it a few times, I have two sides to social media, right? So I have like my personal side, my lifestyle side, just things about my life, a little bit more of, you know, of me, not even in me, of me. And then I have my educational side, where it's really just all fear judgment, overcoming the fear judgment, becoming a content creator, all these things, right? Those are my two sides. They're both me at the end of the day, but on my lifestyle side, I don't really do, makeup is like the bottom of the list of the things that I do, right? It's more like fitness and vegan and things like that. Sometimes when I want to post a beauty video, I'm like, oh, this is not really not my full niche. It's not really, I don't know. I do sometimes second guess myself. Never throughout filming, because I love filming those type of videos, but it's sometimes throughout, not even in the editing. It's really the final part when I'm like doing the description and the caption and all these things, right? I'm like, I don't know. But as I already said in this video, I don't like to waste footage. So if I film something, best believe I'm gonna post it. Some way, somehow, I'm gonna post it, okay? So sometimes I do, you know, have these little thoughts in my mind, like, oh, this is not my main niche. Like, there are people who actually are good at makeup, professional at makeup, like, who am I? But, you know, those thoughts are really fast, right? They're really fleeting thoughts, because when you overcome the fear judgment, these are not things that you get stuck on. Like in the beginning, I would have been stuck on these thoughts for honestly months, probably months, truly. And obviously this would have been in the process of me overcoming the fear judgment, because if it was in the beginning when I was first living with it, pre-overcoming the fear judgment, I wouldn't have even filmed it, because I'm just like, why waste my time, you know? But I love the growth journey. You're seeing living proof of it. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys the truth. Sometimes I do have these thoughts. They're very fleeting, they're very fast, and I just post it anyways, because that is what we're about. Post it anyways, post it anyways. We're just gonna post it, right? And when I post it, every time I post it, I'm just like, why did I even have that thought? Like, why did I even have that thought? But the truth is, I'm really still, for now, today, I'm still like a small content creator, right? That I would say a micro content creator is what we call people of my size of followers, right? And honestly, there are people who probably have hundreds and thousands, millions of followers, who they may have like a group chat, and they may, you know, send it to the group chat and say, does this sound dumb? Do I look okay? Do I not even look okay really, but do I more sound okay? They just want confirmation on the things that they're gonna say. And why would somebody of a big following, a large community do that, right? And it's because the stories that we tell ourselves, sometimes we're just like, oh, maybe, you know, we shouldn't post in that niche. Maybe the beginning of this video doesn't sound right, you know? There are things that we tell ourselves, but we're still gonna post that content. Just because we have these thoughts, it doesn't mean that we have to believe them. It doesn't mean that they're true. They're just thoughts. At the end of the day, they are just thoughts. Okay, let's get into the last part of this video, and it's how we're going to actually rewrite your stories, okay? Rewrite these thoughts that we're having in our mind, okay? We're gonna go through a little 4-step framework, right? It's what I use really for the fear judgment, but it actually works very well with how to rewrite the stories that you're telling yourself. So number one, you're going to acknowledge, okay? Acknowledgement is so important, because honestly, this, as I said, this is my fear judgment framework, but it kind of works with a lot of things in life. Acknowledgement is going to be number one, because how can you move forward if you don't acknowledge what is going on, okay? So with these stories, you need to acknowledge that you're even having these stories in your mind to move forward, to rewrite them. You literally need to sit down and acknowledge that, you know what, I am telling myself that nobody's going to listen to me on social media. You know what, I am telling myself that the fashion niche is too saturated. I can't post in there. I am telling myself that nobody's gonna care about what I wanna say. You need to acknowledge the thoughts that you're having. You need to be honest with yourself. Second step, you need to journal and reflect, okay? Journaling is so important. It's so important to get your thoughts in your mind onto paper by pen or pencil, okay? I know sometimes we wanna type, we wanna write it out, but there's something different, okay? There's a different part of your brain that works when you're actually writing down your thoughts instead of typing them. Your brain actually has to slow down, because you can't obviously think, You can't write in pen or paper the same pace that you can type. That's just a fact of it all. If somebody can, I'm speechless. I'm literally speechless. Okay, so we need to journal and reflect on the thoughts that you're telling yourself. You need to write down these stories that you're telling yourself. And I need you to ask yourself a few questions. First of all, is it true? Okay, is it true? Do I have evidence? And where is this coming from? And you really need to sit down. I keep saying sit down, clearly sit down with yourself and go through these questions and answer them truthfully, honestly, and take your time with them, because that is the only way that you can actually discover, you know, a little bit in depth of where this is coming from. Because if you just stay on the surface, it's going to be hard to uproot all of that stuff. Kind of like we can build a flower, a Lego flower, planting a flower, right? We need to, you know, take out the roots and everything in the soil and then start fresh. I'm not a gardener. Why did I just say that? I never planted a flower a day in my life, but that's how I think it works. From the roots up. Third, this is where you're going to break it down, okay? You're going to break down the story in your head, the story that you keep telling yourself. So let's say you keep telling yourself that, you know, I need better equipment and better lighting and better, a better camera to start filming content. The truth is, actually you don't, right? Actually you don't, because what is really more important is what the context of the video is, okay? You can have the best 4K camera in the world, but if the content of the video itself is trash, then it's trash. That is what it is, okay? Your video doesn't need to look amazing for people to like it, for you to gain an audience, for people to love you as you, right? It's the personality, it's what you're saying, it's literally everything besides the actual visual of the content. There are so many pieces of content online that I'm sure you like and I love, and you love as well. I don't know why I put you as like and me as love, that we both love, that don't look 10 out of 10 amazing content. It doesn't need to look amazing. It's what is actually packaged inside the video that makes the video what it is. If you keep telling yourself, oh, I need to be an expert to post in this field. Actually, let's take a step back. First of all, how do experts even become experts? But if you want to even break it down a little bit more, you can be like, what even is an expert? Okay. First of all, what is an expert? Somebody who's very good in their field. Let's just make it very easy, right? But not even very good, but very, very good, right? But how do they even get there? Everybody has to start somewhere, right? It's like an expert in forensic science. They started somewhere. They went to school for it. They were in that field for a while. They gained experience, and then they, you know, became an expert. But they started from somewhere, right? And the place where they started from is where you are right now. What does that mean? You need to start somewhere, right? And where you are right now is actually the perfect place to start. The last step of the framework, number 4, set a deadline, okay? You need a deadline because it is literally going to make or break this whole framework, okay? You need to tell yourself, I will be posting by Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. No matter if I'm ready or not, okay? No matter if I have a new camera or not, no matter if I feel like I'm an expert or not, no matter if anybody's going to listen to me or not, all these stories that you tell yourself need to stay in the past. They can even stay in your brain, that is fine. But the deadline is what is going to make you actually push forward and post that content. We need to start reframing our thoughts, okay? From I'm not ready to I don't need to be 100% ready to start posting content. All these thoughts, all these stories in your mind, they can and they will be reframed, okay? So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it helped you to, you know, reframe these stories and these thoughts in your mind and give you a little bit more information of why you even have these stories in the first place, okay? I do want to share something that I'm working on something right now that is going to help you to post content, and not just post content, it is guaranteed to get you to start posting content within 30 days. It's Q2, okay? So what I want you guys to do is start posting that content anyway, okay? Overcoming the fear of judgment, posting your content. That is literally what I'm here to do. That's my mission. So that's my mission that I am going to accomplish, okay? So look out for that. There is something in the works. You know, it's guided, it's also interactive, so it's going to be really helpful. And it's something, now, like, as I'm like, you know, working on it and building it, I'm like, if I had this, I would be posting in 30 days rather than waiting years. Okay? So I'm shaking my I'm very excited for that to come out for you guys. Last but not least, subscribe if you haven't yet. We're almost at 100 followers, which, like, okay, it's 100, but it's 100, okay? I feel like I'm on a journey with you guys too, because obviously this is, a new account and new everything for me on this side of social media. So these little milestones they're precious. They're precious and they're important. And I am so grateful for each and every single one of you. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram. Also, my DMs are always open. I'm here to help you. Okay. So don't be afraid to send me a message. If there's something you want to work through, I'm here. I'm here literally for you. Okay, not for me. I'm here for you. I've done the work. And now it's obviously literally my duty and my mission to help you to do the same. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.